Hey guys, welcome to the actual season premiere, aka season 2 of Takes from Obvious Bozos. I'm Drew, and joining me, as always, our head marketer, our head social media liaison, Zach, who's always my co-host here every single time. Zach, how are you today?
I am thrilled to be back after a long off season. That was suddenly changed the last minute. We planned on going to the season with a very different team, and then right before
Yes,
camp,
we did.
we had our life turned around. And but I'm happy to be here. Happy to have another season.
So yeah, no, we're super excited. The preseason's officially over. We almost had another Tyler Kolek masterclass. I was I I know we have stuff to do, but I was cracking up at the fact that like the last preseason was a Johnny Davis Tyler Kolek duel to end the game. I'm like, this is everything I want in a preseason game. Just it was wonderful.
It was beautiful. It was.
And he almost pulled it off too. I think that's the funnier part is that like he almost did it. And no, I think TJ
Warren
Warren
couldn't
messed
get
it
him the
up.
ball. Yeah, it was just like it was a good play.
I haven't rewatched it, just kind of like live. I was looking at like what they were doing in that inbounds play, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna get it to Warren. Warren's gonna probably kick it back out to Kolek, and they're gonna run some sort of like screen and roll. And Warren didn't want the ball. He got like no separation. He either got no separation or whoever was defending him blew up the play. I didn't catch.
It looked like it got blown up. It looked like the guy was just way in there, and like it may have been like a handoff situation too, and that whole thing got blown up, and it was a disaster. And
yeah, and then it was just a terrible pass to our boy Huck Porty, and he bobbled it, and then the game was over. And it was just like,
okay.
Oh man,
Dude, we are on Huck Porty guaranteed watch, by the way. Just keep checking your phone. Like at any minute now, we'll get the Ariel Huck Porty converted to a guaranteed contract notification.
Yeah, no, we're recording this. Yeah, we're recording this on Saturday. We got the Shams. It's Shams, right? Not Shams.
I think it's Shams. Yeah.
Because I like to do like Sham Wows. That's what I call it. Like that's my Sham Wows are when you get the alert on Twitter for Shams. They're Sham Wows. That's what I call them. So we're waiting for that on a beautiful Saturday morning. But let's get to some. We need to get to the people who make this. Well, this show's technically not free, but who makes this show the first 20 minutes or so free, and that is BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. That's right, guys. The football season is in full effect. Not season 6, game week 6. Am I right? No, Zach's not paying attention. That's okay.
It's like week 8 or like week 7.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200K. When the game's over, over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. And of course, guys, this is the Strickland. We are primarily a Patreon podcast. You get the first 20 minutes or so free. So if you head over to patreon.com/the Strickland, and we have multiple tiers. The $6 tier gets you the full episode of this, and Friday's episode of Pod Strickland with Schwinn and Prez. The $9 tier gets you the NFL podcast. Again, if you're an NFL fan, you got to get in the $9 tier. With I believe that's Jeff and Con still doing.
It's Con and Desmond and Luca and a little rotating panel of hosts this year.
Oh, look at that! Well, the main thing is Con, right? That's the selling point. He's still there. That's the $9 tier, and of course, when you sign up for these tiers, you get to submit submit takes for the show. That's where we get all our takes on. We get it from our Discord, our wonderful Discord, where we are talking at everything Knicks, everything Yankees, I guess some Mets, but the Mets lost, I think.
They won yesterday, man. It was a triumphant display at Citi Field.
No, yeah, I don't care.
We're going back to LA. We're going back to LA.
Yeah, Shohei is gonna show up.
We'll see.
In LA. But no, then you get future articles from Matthew Miranda. So like definitely come to Strickland. You either go to the Strict.land to get to our Patreon or patreon.com/Strickland. So don't forget that. And Zach, are you ready? We have all our takes. These are season preview takes. So effectively, we wanted to collect hot takes for your basically predictions for the season. At some point, I think when there's like a slow point in the season, I'm gonna probably go back through the entire thread and find like general takes that we could just do randomly. Because I would love to go like in the Wayback Machine and see like some random takes how they aged. But no, we're doing specifically season preview takes. We wanted hot takes, and
we got them.
We got them. We definitely got them. So we are going to start off with Duder Adam, preseason pack watcher. He started off with 2 takes, which are pretty good. So Dante will not play more than 1 season with the Wolves. That's a pretty good one so far. And then this followed up with Deuce McBride finishes top 3 in either 6th man of the year or most improved voting. The Dante one is kind of hot. Yeah,
the Dante one is really hot.
I don't think they're trading him. I think they desperately need him.
Me too. And I think they trade Randall. Like Randall's the one who plays 1 season with the Wolves. Like maybe less than 1 season with the Wolves. You might play half a season with the Wolves.
Yeah, I think that's more of the candidate. They are going to need Dante shooting because that lineup, their starting lineup has no shooting. Like absolutely none whatsoever. It's basically Edwards gets hot. That's their shooting. Which, of course, it's Anthony Edwards. He's great. So it's not like a terrible thing, but I think they're going to run into some problems with that. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
To see. So he's going to stay.
You look at their front court, though, like they've got Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert, and Randall. Like, is there any scenario where all 3 of those guys are closing a game together? Are you playing Randall at like the 3 with them? Like it's not happening. That fit is not seamless. And they're going to prioritize Rudy over Randall because they just traded like a ton of picks for Rudy. And they're probably going to prioritize Naz Reid over Randall because Naz is like the homegrown talent who they love and is on a cheaper deal and makes a little more sense to keep long term. And I think they're going to flip Randall if not at the deadline this year, then maybe next summer or sometime pretty soon. But Dante is the guy that I think. First of all, I think he was the reason they made this trade. I think he was like the guy that they really wanted to grab. And Randall was kind of like the contract that made it work, which is an insane thing to say, but he is the asset that they wanted to get back, and he's probably going to stick around there for a while.
I think it makes sense because I think probably what you do is you bring in Dante. That's the key. Randall then becomes their trade to kind of bring in the stuff to get in, as like it's almost like an extra step for the Towns trade, right? Basically, it's just like whatever you get for Randall will be like that plus Dante. That's I think that's more likely going to happen. So I think it's a hot take. I don't think they're going to trade Dante. Especially if Dante is going to shoot like he did again last year, right? Like if he's going to continue that type of shooting, you really can't get rid of him. It was already tough for the Knicks to get rid of him.
Yeah.
So that's tough. But the Deuce one, I kind of like. I think he's a pretty good. It's definitely hot in non-Knicks circles.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's definitely a hot take in non-Knicks circles. I think because we've been watching him closely, I'm not going to pretend I was watching any other preseason games, like the other team preseason games. But Deuce does look very much like he's on like a very much upward trajectory. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does get like some votes for either for those.
This is a guy who has improved every season of his career and is now going to have a role much bigger, and he's going to have much more trust in Tibbs this year. And he's kind of walking into a perfect situation to have a season like this where he breaks out as a 6-man candidate or a most improved candidate. Top 3 is like where the hot take comes in. Like he might be like a lock to be like top 5 in both of these, or like top 6 or 7. But top three is pretty hard, but like it's definitely doable. It's like a reasonable take, but I like it, man. I'm counting on Deuce to do that. So
yeah, I'm counting on it as well. I mean, the Knicks kind of need it so to happen, just given the depth right now with Shamet is which RIP Shamet, which was really upsetting. I was actually excited for like a Landry Shamet. I was excited for like a Shamet resurgence, so I can give a hot take that Shamet is just Dante.
Yeah.
Right. Like
dude, we were robbed of the champagne back. I was so excited for champagne. I know the champagne is not in the fridge. It's in the hospital right now.
So. It's gone. Precious. Did they get anything on Precious, or is he just like he tweaked his hammy and he's going to be fine?
Like, I haven't heard anything, but I think he's going to be fine. It looked more like a cramp or just like something like light because we didn't hear any reporting after, and like he just like kind of walked off in a weird limp. But it's a preseason game, and like I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. So like. Yeah, the Shammo one's upsetting. So, but yeah, But they need Deuce. They really are going to need, like, Deuce is going to have to be as aggressive as he's been in the preseason. That has to translate into the regular season. It's no choice.
Yeah.
Our beloved Jerry Garcia has Mikal Bridges will finish the year in the G League.
Correct.
So this came off the game yesterday for Mikal Bridges. He went 0 for 10 from 3, and they weren't even close.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
None of them were.
He apparently changed his shot, and it's awful. So that's basically, James's response to everyone being like, Mikal's shot is terrible. It's concerning. So he's going, I like the take because, man, that shot's ugly.
It's really bad. And I'm worried, and like every fan I've talked to is worried, but I have a little bit of hope for the guy who's like I don't know, this is like year 8 or year 7 for him in the NBA, and he shot like 37% or better in every season of his career. So I'm just going to sleep and say I trust him to figure it out. And I know he spoke to the media after the game last night, and he was definitely asked some like pressing questions about this, and he clearly didn't want to give away like what actually happened this summer and like what the real change was. Like he was kind of speaking in the like cover up, talk to the media, like don't give them anything concrete voice. But what I gathered from that is that he does change his shot or like try to find small tweaks every year, which is like what good players do. Like good players will find ways to improve their shot every year. And I think he may have done something that was a little more of a bigger change than usual. And he's still trying to figure that out. And it looks like he's kind of releasing it. I'm not a shot doctor by any means. I think people know that, but he's kind of releasing it like higher above his head than he was originally. It used to be more kind of in front of his forehead, in front of his head. And now it's like Channing Frye-esque, like above his
all
head.
The way back
It's like way back above his head, which if he can figure it out, maybe that's an advantage. Maybe that gives him more open looks. Maybe that makes him like a better shooter when guys are closing out on him. But for now, it's like not going in at all. And it's going to take time. And I trust him to figure it out. But it is a little concerning right now.
It's definitely concerning. I don't mind like a high release if he's like posting up or driving the paint, because like those, like every single player has different release points when they're doing different shots like that. The concern is ultimately at like his corner threes or his open spotted looks.
Yeah,
they look awful.
Yeah, someone made a good point last night. I don't know if it was in the Discord or on Twitter or something, but it seems like when he is rushed to take it, like when there's a defender closing out, or it's like a movement shot, an in rhythm shot, it seems like those ones look a little better. It might go in the preseason, but the ones where he's like catch and shoot wide open and has a second or two to like breathe before it gets off, those are the ones that look miserable. Yeah, I don't understand. So I still have hope. It's preseason. This guy's a NBA veteran who's been a great shooter his entire career and even before his NBA career. So I'll trust him to figure it out. But right now it's a little concerning.
It's ugly. Because I know him and Towns were both 0 for 15.
The Towns thing, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I think Towns will be fine. It's just, I think he's just, just missing shots right now. And I think it's a good thing he's missing him in the preseason and early in the season because he needs to make them later in the season. So I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
Welcome Pac-Man has, if playing Bronny real minutes is now part of the package deal with LeBron, he's not a top 20 player anymore.
I'm just saying, like, the next 5 takes are all like Bronny takes. I don't know what happened.
They're great.
We did not invite Bron takes. We were just like, hey, give us your preseason takes, and we got a lot of Bron, which is okay. I love those guys, but
this is both hot, and I actually think there's some truth to it as well. This isn't like a Thanasis situation where like he doesn't really play, right? He's just like, he's the 15th man. He gets his scrub minutes at the end of like blowouts, that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like if Bronny is going to have even like a guaranteed, say 10 minutes a game,
that's a lot of minutes, man. That's a
lot of minutes for a kid who, look, man, he's not an NBA player. He's not
right now. Yeah.
Will he ever be? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
But like he's certainly not one right now. He's definitely someone who probably should have stayed in college. Didn't. And he's terrible. Honestly, like he's just terrible.
Yeah. And I also I don't know if it's like the actual like playing him part of it, but there's like a media pressure and like just like sense that like he has to play around like Lakers circles, and like I'm sure the reporters are like, oh, what's the plan for Bronny? Like, why wasn't he in there? What'd you think of him there? That's what makes him different than like a Thanasis guy, because like you got Bron going around like tweeting shit like last year where he was like, oh, some of these cats in these NBA games, like, oh,
Right.
Bronny's better than some
better.
of these NBA cats. Like, what are you saying, man? And it's just weird. Like, when you give him a guaranteed deal like this, it's like kind of a long-term deal. And like, there's all this stuff coming out about how he's going to play on opening night or he's going to play on the first week of the season. And it's all of that. Like, that's a major distraction that I think it's worse than like the idea of just having him play like a set number of minutes. And my prediction for this entire thing is like, they probably get it over with in the beginning. Like they do the alley-oop thing. They do like the photo of them on the court together. They play together at home for one time. But then I think he spends the whole year in the G League. Like I think from mid-November on, like he might just be in the G League the entire year. And they'll say, hey, you know what? This is a development year for Bronny. We don't think he's ready yet. They'll come out, they'll say it, it's over with. And then they focus on the team they have in the NBA. But for now, like it's really weird. I know Shams was on ESPN crazy that he was on ESPN, but he was talking about how they're like the plan is for him to play on opening night, which is kind of crazy. Like he has not, from a basketball standpoint, he's not earned those minutes. And we'll see. It's going to be box office. It's going to be very dramatic. It'll be all over social media. I'm excited for that. But does this make LeBron a not top 20 player? That's a hot take. We'll find out.
I kind of agree though. In the sense that, like, if you're really just going to throw, right? If you're just throwing minutes away and you're creating, like, a distraction like that, no matter what, like, I don't think LeBron would be worth it in that sense, right? Like, do you really want that type of drama? So, I get the precedent. Top 20, I like it. I love them. The hotter, the better. But I get the nature of this. So, Young Pavardi follows that up with, nobody should feel bad for Bronny if and when he gets criticism for being asked this season. There's a weird thing going on because like I get where some of the defense where like people are being defensive of him comes from, right? Because there is an element of it being over the top. At the same time, this is also LeBron James' kid and he's set for life. So like does it really
feel bad? Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things where like I don't like the conversation and the stuff that's being said about him, but I'm also not going to be like, defensive for him either, if that makes sense. Because like, again, he's set for life. I wish I was LeBron James's kid.
Yeah, me too.
So no, I don't actually think this is necessarily a hot take, but we do have. Again, another LeBron James thing. I love.
We have two more LeBron James takes,
which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Jax365, Cat is my Pookie Bear has LeBron will be demanding a trade by next summer at the latest. I think this is the hot take. I think he's finishing everything up in LA. I don't know how long he's going to continue playing, but I don't see him moving again.
It depends because listen, like the next take. I'm sorry, I'll get ahead of ourselves. The next take is that this is the year LeBron will look mortal and like he will not make an All NBA team. If that is the case, Deuter-Adam.
Hold on. Deuter-Adam. That was the next take. Is LeBron will look mortal? So we'll leave this all in.
Yeah, my opinion on this other one kind of has to do with that too. So if this is the year, if that is indeed the case, LeBron looks mortal. He doesn't play every game, and he's not just jumping from like the dotted line to finish dunks at like age 40, which is like an insane thing that he was doing last year.
Mm-hmm.
Then he probably sticks it out in LA. Like if he's not somebody that like moves the needle for a championship team, he probably sticks it out in LA. But if there's a season this year where LeBron is still like defying the father time laws and still going insane and 25, 5-5 every night, then maybe he does demand a trade and think, hey, maybe I have one more chance to get a ring here. And like we know if LeBron believes that he can get another ring, I think he will look for an avenue to do that. And I don't know. We'll see how he is this season. We'll see how productive he is. We'll see how healthy he is. But I wouldn't eliminate that possibility. So.
I don't know. I don't see it. I feel like he's done. I feel like he's kind of like there's an element. I feel like once he went to LA, he kind of gave up. Like I know they got their bubble title, right? Like I know they got it. Whatever. I don't count it. I don't care about the bubble title. Like it does nothing for me. Okay, that's great. I don't.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You just feel like it's just been, especially like since then. Like the Lakers aren't serious.
They're not.
They're not like a serious team.
Yeah. Also, like JJ Redick is their coach.
Yeah,
I like JJ, but man, come on, this guy. Are we serious?
Weren't there people being like he's the next Pat Riley?
Some people said that, but I don't need to. I don't subscribe to that.
All right, so we have another take from Young Pavardi. Houston will be trading for the next star that hits the trade market. I don't think this is a hot take. I think this is exactly what's going to happen. They have so many young guys, right?
And so many contracts too. Like they have the money to move, they have the young guys to move, they have the picks to move. Like this is going to happen.
Yeah, I just see it happening. Like they were 41-41 last year. They're solid, and it's going to. I think it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Utah's not doing it. Danny Ainge is a coward. He's not doing it. OKC, I don't see them doing anything like that. Like they still haven't consolidated any of their picks. I don't know what they're doing with them, but I think it's going to be Houston. It's definitely going to be Houston. I don't know who.
That's their plan. Like that's kind of what this whole thing the past 2 seasons have been for them. Like they're going to make these trades soon. So
yeah, I don't know when. I don't know who or when. I think that'd be a fun take of someone being like, who's the next star? Like who's gonna demand out? Maybe it's LeBron. Maybe LeBron's gonna demand out, and he's gonna. That's the move.
I think I think you have to keep your eyes on Phoenix. Like it could be KD, it could be Booker, it could fucking be Beal for all I know. Like I don't know if that Phoenix thing is like gonna last. And maybe they have one more season this year. Like
Booker probably makes most of sense. Yeah. Durant does nothing at this point. He's getting those like legacy top 10 player stuff, and he's really not that guy.
Phoenix just wait for the KD for Julius Randle trade. Just wait, it's coming. It's coming.
I like that. Constantine has Giannis is a Knick before the 2026 season starts.
Okay, this is tricky. What does he mean by the 2026 season? Do you mean 26-27 or 25-26?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's a huge variable there. Like I don't know which one you're talking about.
Okay, so it would have to be a trade, right?
Yeah.
Do the Knicks even have salaries that would even?
Is it Cat? Do you put Cat?
No, Towns is too. I think Towns is too much.
So what do you do
in terms of salary? Like I don't know the salaries that would make it work. I guess it would be.
Does like Josh Hart and Mitch get you there?
I think that's too little then.
Oh God.
I don't know the specifics of how. Yeah. I don't necessarily feel like looking it up. It would be interesting. So I definitely think this is a hot take. I don't see it. I don't see it happening at all. I would love if Giannis came to the Knicks. I would love the quote unquote big three of like Towns, Giannis, and Brunson.
Crazy.
That'd be awesome, but I don't see it. I don't know how it would work. If we're talking, I don't think the Knicks have the you know what? I'll just quickly look up what like Giannis is making right now.
If you made the take that Giannis will not be on the Bucks when the 2026 season starts, like that's something I could get behind. Like that's something I could believe. But I don't know if like the Knicks are the team that comes to get him. Like could be Houston, it could be Oklahoma City, which kind of scares me as a possibility. But I don't know if like the Knicks are there.
So Giannis right now is at 48.7. So 48.8. Then next season 25-26 is going to be at 54. And then the 26-27, he'll be at 58. So you know what? Maybe it is like a Towns type thing, right? Like it would have to be. I think Towns would have to be the guy then involved, because the other salaries aren't that much. It would have to be maybe like OG and Hart would probably get you there. And I don't think that's how. I think it would have to be centered around Towns. And I don't know. I don't see it. I think it's a hot take. I think the colder version of this is Giannis is gone from the Bucks.
Yeah, that I believe. Like that, I think is pretty gonna happen.
Stacey Patton has the toughest opponents for the Knicks in the playoffs will be the Orlando Magic, not the Boston Celtics.
I don't get this.
So Stacey's getting at when the playoffs come around, whoever the matchup is going to be for the Knicks, the Magic will be the tougher matchup than if the Knicks played the Celtics.
No, this is not true. The Celtics are a much better team than the Magic. This is a terrible take, Stacey, unfortunately. I like some of the guys in the Magic. I like Franz a lot. I like Paolo a lot. I like Suggs, Wendell. There's some people on Twitter who are like, warning me about Wendell versus Cat. They're like, oh, Cat has trouble with Wendell, man. You don't want to see him. You don't want to see Cat versus Wendell. I'm like, all right, man, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But this Boston team is just way better. They're way more talented. They have way more weapons to deploy against us. They're better coached. They've been there. They've done it. This is a pretty obvious one.
I get the argument Stacey's going for, because he's effectively saying that like the Magic are more of like a younger version of the Celtics in terms of like how they are like the large wings, the point guards that can defend multiple positions, like that type of stuff. I don't think the Magic are there just yet.
They're
like I know they played well. I know they made the playoffs. They'll probably make it again. They'll probably do better. They're probably like a year or so away. And that could age poorly, right? That take could age poorly because maybe Paolo makes the jump. I don't know. But I don't think they're there just yet. I think just given the experience that this team has right now with like Brunson and OG, like with the playoff experience, Towns has been in the playoffs multiple times now. He played really well last year. I just think that experience is going to carry the Knicks further. And like Boston will be the tougher matchup.
Dude, also, like, what was the Magic's offseason besides, like, KCP? Like, they brought in KCP, who is, like, on the far side of his prime, and, like, that's it?
That's mainly it.
They got Tristan De Silva in the draft, who I like, but, like, is he going to move a needle in the playoff series? No. That's it.
That's really that's really it. So, yeah, no, I don't see it. But I do appreciate how hot it is. It's hot, but also not good. Yeah. Jax365, Cat is my Pookie Bear. As this will be the last take of the free version of this. The Knicks will be fine in the regular season, but will come great in the playoffs.
This I buy. I think this is a good take.
I don't think it's hot. I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to take a little while for this team to kind of come together. They look a little like Brunson and Towns are slowly getting there, right? In the preseason, we're kind of seeing that, and you kind of see the vision of what it's going to be, which is if anyone doubles Brunson, on the perimeter or when he's driving, Towns is going to sneak into the paint and Brunson's going to find him. So, like, we already kind of see how the team is going to work. I think it's going to be I think it's going to take a little time.
Yeah, I mentioned this when we opened the pod, but like, when you have an entire offseason thinking that the team is going to be a certain way, and then 2 days before camp, the entire roster is like flipped up on its face, it's tough to come into the year and like expect to figure it out right away. Like, that's just not what happens. And like Tibbs talks about it every year we've had him as coach. He's like, we figure things out across the year. We learn we learn people's roles across the year. We're always adjusting things and figuring things out. And that's what's going to happen this year. Like, there's too much change in this roster, too much turnover, and too much schematic change with Cat at the 5. Like, we've never had a center who can go out and like attack off the dribble and make open threes and do all these different things like Cat can. Yeah. And like, it's a great problem to have that we have this right now. We haven't figured it out yet, but am I smashing the over on us this year for our win total regular season? Probably not. But like, would I be surprised if they hit it? No. But I think they'll have it all figured out. I think it's 53.5, 54.5. I can check. Hold on.
I get like that's a good line to set because like I do think that's like the potential this team has.
53.5 on a lot of books and 54.5 on some other books.
Yeah, so I think that's the high end for what this team can be, right? Like I definitely think this definitely has like the 51 talent team. Like they could definitely get there. I don't know if it'll be 53, 50, maybe 50. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 49 again. And then just like crushing it in the
playoffs.
In the playoffs. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But they also, if things do come together, sooner rather than later, it's definitely a 51 team.
Yeah.
So that's going to be it for the preview. Again, patreon.com/Strickland. That's where you can hear the rest of this episode. And then for those who are patrons, we will see you now on the other side.